January. Here's the part 2 of these top 10 lists. Let's do it. Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list and welcome to another top 10 movies I like but everyone else seems to hate. Yes, about a year and a bit ago, I did the top 10 movies I like but everyone else hates, and I hate but everyone else likes, and people seem to really enjoy those two videos, so I'll do a part 2 of them. Yes, this is another top 10 movies I like but everyone else seems to hate. And don't worry, I'll be making a part 2 for this video of movies I hate but everyone else seems to like. And yes, these movies, I really enjoy them. I find these movies incredibly underrated. Some of them are guilty pleasures. Many people seem to not really like these movies. There's a fan basis for these movies, but the majority consensus, a lot of people don't like these movies, but I do. So here we go. Here's another top 10 movies I like, but everyone else seems to hate. Alright, coming at number 10 is this year's Suicide Squad. Yes, Suicide Squad. Yes, I wore this shirt on purpose because I like Suicide Squad. I really did. I'm going to leave a link down below to my review. I did a whole in-depth review of how much I liked it and stuff, and it's not a perfect movie. It's got some terrible editing. It's got a shitty villain, Enchantress. It's spoilers. Joker is barely in the movie and stuff, but all in all, I actually did enjoy Suicide Squad. I actually really liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. I had fun with the characters. The Suicide Squads themselves are great. Those characters are awesome. I loved Deadshot, played by Will Smith. I loved Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn. I loved Captain Boomerang, played by Jai Courtney, who's never good in movies. Joel Kinnaman was good as Rick Flag. I loved Amanda Waller as Viola Davis. That's perfect casting right there. And I thought David Ayer did a decent job writing and directing this movie. And Jared Leto, even though he's barely in the damn movie, I thought he was a fine Joker, and I was invested with these characters, and I thought the action was cool, the visuals were cool. There's a lot of great comedy. It's like the Guardians of the Galaxy of the DC universe. This is the movie when DC actually took the sticks up their asses and started being, like, you know, more silly and more fun. Didn't have to be all brooding and depressing like all their movies are. This movie actually is a fun popcorn movie, and that's what it is. It is not a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a fun, enjoyable popcorn flick. It's a fun comic book movie. I know a lot of people hate it, but I enjoy it. Coming number 9 is last year's Maggie. Yes, Maggie stars Abigail Breslin and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and this is a zombie movie, a dramatic zombie movie that has Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes, and people are probably thinking, if you have Arnold in a zombie movie, it better be a ridiculous zombie movie. It better be Dawn of the Dead meets Last Action Hero. Spoilers. Oh, but yeah, this movie was good. I really liked it. I liked that it was this very bleak, sort of depressing, dramatic film about a girl named Maggie and she's slowly turning into a zombie, and basically her dad spends the last few days with her of her life before she turns into a zombie and stuff. And this is a really interesting post-apocalyptic movie. I think this movie was filmed in Canada, and I really enjoyed it. I thought Arnold Schwarzenegger was good, and it was a very dramatic and very subtle performance, and subtlety isn't Schwarzenegger's strong suit, and he was good. I liked his chemistry with Maggie, played by Abigail Breslin, and I thought they both worked well together. I thought it was very deep, I thought it was very emotional, and I enjoyed this movie. I really did. I had a connection with these characters, and I did enjoy them. I liked the performances and the direction. Unfortunately, no one saw this movie, and when people did, they thought it was very mediocre because they were expecting a fun or really scary horror movie with Schwarzenegger, and they just got a very deep, dramatic zombie movie, and people didn't want that, but I wanted it, and I liked it, and who cares? Coming number 8 is another movie that came out last year, and that was American Ultra. Yes, this movie is written by Max Landis, who wrote, like, Victor Frankenstein, which sucked. But he also wrote Chronicle, which was awesome, and I really enjoyed this movie. This is a very silly, over-the-top action comedy, stoner comedy, and it has Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart, and this movie is a lot of fun. I love seeing Jesse Eisenberg play this stoner role and have a lot of fun, kick some ass and stuff. I enjoyed the action scenes, and I love the stoner comedy element to it, and it's a bit predictable, and this movie isn't for everyone, definitely not for everyone, but I found it a very fun, guilty pleasure movie. It's stupid, and I know why people think it's dumb and ridiculous, and why should I like this movie? It's just a guilty pleasure, and I do enjoy it. Coming number 7 is Charlie Bartlett. Yes, Charlie Bartlett stars Anton Yelchin, Robert Downey Jr., Kat Dennings. This movie is really good. This was kind of panned by the critics, and I don't know why. This movie was great. Yes, this movie's also filmed in Canada, and it co-stars a lot of Degrassi cast. I hate Degrassi, by the way, but I like this movie. Rest in peace, Anton Yelchin. This is one of my favorite performances by him. Not my favorite movie, just performance. I love the story of this movie about this rich kid who goes to this public high school, and basically he becomes the high school psychiatrist. He opens up his own little office in the boys' washroom, and he actually sells its prescription drugs to help them with their mental illness, and he also talks to them like a therapist and stuff. He's sort of a drug dealer, but he also does help people, and I really enjoy this movie. I love the concept, the idea, the premise, and I really enjoy these characters. These characters are very high school characters, and they feel like real, funny high school characters. I love the school bully who joins Charlie Bartlett. He's a very funny character, and I love a lot of the character arcs in this movie, and I love the comedy. This was my sort of comedy. The comedy in this movie was really funny, and Anton Yelchin was so freaking good. I know a lot of people haven't seen this movie, so if you haven't seen this movie yet, please check it out. It's a very funny movie. It's got some good dramatic scenes. It's full of heart, and it's got a cool concept and idea, and it's Anton Yelchin. He just passed away, so watch all his movies. He gives a good performance in almost everything he does, and this is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites he was in. Coming number 6 is Cloud Atlas. This Cloud Atlas is directed by the Wachowskis, and very mixed, very controversial movie. This movie has a bunch of different storylines and a bunch of different timelines. It's like 7 different stories, and the first one takes place back in like the 15th century, and then like the last story is like a post-apocalyptic story and stuff, and it's all these different characters, and they're all different reincarnations in each of these stories, and each story has like a different genre. Like the first one's a period piece, then there's one dramatic, one romantic, one's a comedy, one's science fiction, one's like this almost psychological thriller, one's a crime story, and it has all these actors playing different races and all that stuff. It has Tom Hanks, Hugo Weaving, Jim Sturgis, and Halle Berry, and I really like this movie. I find this movie very ambitious, and I like this movie. Some people really didn't. Some people thought it was a 3-hour snooze fest. Some people thought it was too controversial. Some people were offended by the movie. I don't know why, but whatever. I liked it. I liked the idea. I liked how it was directed. I love how it was structured, and I was pretty invested with most of the stories. The science fiction story was definitely the best one. The comedy one with Jim Broadbent is also a really good one, and I enjoyed it. It had some good shots, some good visuals. It's just a fun, ambitious film, and I enjoy a lot of the Wachowskis' work. Some of it is a bit of a miss, but I enjoy Cloud Atlas. Coming number 5 is Hidalgo. Hidalgo is directed by Joe Johnston, who makes a lot of fun movies, and this one is probably, I guess people call it the forgettable movie. It's a good movie. No one has barely heard of this movie because this movie came out in the early 2000s, and no one saw it, and no one even cared to even talk about it ever again. And this is a good movie. It's a fun Joe Johnston movie. Joe Johnston does one thing really right, and that is make fun movies. He made like movies like Shrek the Kids, The Rocketeer, Captain America vs. Avenger, all these fun movies, and this is one of them, and I really enjoy Hidalgo. Viggo Mortensen's great. There's some pretty cool shots in the desert. It's no Lawrence of Arabia shots, but still good shots, some good editing, some fun swashbuckling action adventure, and basically it. It's just a fun movie, and it's a fun Joe Johnston movie, and just no one saw it, and no one cares about it, but I like it. Number 4 is Escape from L.A. Yes, okay. Snake Plissken, yes. Kurt Russell, awesome. Love Kurt Russell. I love John Carpenter, too. John Carpenter's great. This is no Escape from New York. Escape from New York is a fantastic, solid movie. This movie is not at all Escape from New York, but it's still a fun, silly, clunky action movie. I really like Escape from L.A. as a guilty pleasure. I know a lot of people hate it, but I enjoy it as a guilty pleasure. Just as a guilty pleasure. It's stupid, it's weird, it makes no sense at times, has a shitty villain, but Kurt Russell with an eye patch, a Snake Plissken on another mission. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. This movie's got some cool action scenes, some funny, silly one-liners. I just love seeing Snake Plissken again, doing this mission, and being with all these goofy, silly characters with these weird, goofy, silly scenarios, and I enjoy this movie. Is it stupid? Yes, but I like it. Coming number 3 is Last Action Hero. Yes, another silly, over-the-top action movie. I think this movie was way ahead of its time, because this movie is about a kid who looks up to this movie star who's played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and basically the kid gets transported into the action movie and stuff, and basically he's living the dream. He's inside a movie that he's always loved. It's a silly 90s action movie with bad one-liners and stuff. It's got Arnold Schwarzenegger, and basically he has to solve the crime in the movie, and basically all the characters from the movie go into the real world, and also other characters from other movies come into the real world, and it all becomes a huge clusterfuck. And then you got Arnold Schwarzenegger playing this silly action role, but also playing himself and stuff, and you got Ian McKellen playing Death, which is awesome. You also have Charles Dance, Tywin Lannister, playing the villain, and yeah, this movie's great. It's got great satire. The satire of this movie is so funny. The one-liners are awesome. The action's great, and this movie is just so freaking funny. I don't think people could appreciate this movie back when it came out, but I'm glad it's now got like sort of a cult following, because people are loving this movie now, and they should. But back when it came out, even on Rotten Tomatoes right now, it's like in the 30s on Rotten Tomatoes. People hated this movie, but I really like it. It's directed by John McTiernan, and it's written by Shane Black, and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. What else do you want? Coming number 2 is Star Trek Nemesis. Yes, this is a very, very hated Star Trek movie. I don't know why I like this movie. It's a good Star Trek movie. It's got Tom Hardy. It's got some really good performances, especially by Patrick Stewart. Even Brent Spiner's good. William Riker's good. I love some of the story arcs in this movie. Yes, I get it. This is the final movie for the Next Generation story, and it kind of just ends abruptly, and you're like, they don't even end every character's story or anything, but they do kill Data, yay! But I really like this movie. I thought it was cool. It had some good action scenes. I love the story about a clone who had a different life than Jean-Luc Picard, and that's why he's a villain. Basically, he was destined to be a villain. This is an interesting story about destiny and jealousy and envy and stuff, and I really like this movie. The visuals are good. The action's a lot of fun. I enjoy seeing all these characters again, these Next Generation characters. It was far superior to Insurrection, and I like this movie. Yes, the ending should have been better, but I like Star Trek Nemesis. Some people don't, but I do. And the number 1 movie I like, but everyone else seems to hate, is the 1993 Three Musketeers. Yes, I did a ranking of all the Musketeers movies, and I talked about all of them. I enjoy the Musketeers movies. I hate The Musketeer, and I hate that 2011 version directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. Those movies suck. But I love the 70s version, I love the Douglas Fairbanks version, and I love the 1993 version. This is a live-action Disney movie. It has Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt, Charlie Sheen, Chris O'Donnell, Julie Delpy, and frickin' Tim Curry as the villain. That's awesome right there. And it's just got this cool, fun, swashbuckling action. I love the characters. It's funny. It's enjoyable. I grew up with it as a kid, and I always had so much fun with it. I grew up with a lot of Musketeers movies because I always enjoyed the book, but written by Alexander Dumas, and there's never been a loyal adaptation of the Three Musketeers. Everyone's saying the BBC show is pretty accurate. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard good things. But this movie is just so much fun. Again, the 70s version with Michael York, those are better movies, but the 90s version is just the most fun version. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's energetic, it's a fun kids movie, but also a fun movie for everybody. It's a fun for the whole family, and that's why I love it. Some people hated it, the critics despised this movie when it came out, but I like it. It's great, it's a lot of fun, I enjoy it. So yeah, that was another top 10 movies I like, but everyone else seems to hate. I hope you all enjoyed it, and yeah, of course, in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this list? If not, give me your list of your top 10 movies that you like, but everyone else seems to hate, and if you did on my last video of the top 10 movies you like, but everyone else hates, give me a different top 10 list, okay? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.